Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Gato and I'm so happy to be on the Jane's Doodles YouTube channel. It's the first video on here, I think, or the first full-length video, so I am very honored to be here. Now I'm showing a very clean and simple card today with some hot foiling because it's a hot topic and I am really enjoying my hot foiling machine. Now I'm using the new I Dig You stem set by Jane's Doodles. It is so cute. I love the little bear and it's perfect as a focal image on a pretty simple card because the size is just right. So I stamped that first in Memento Tuxedo Black ink and I left the stamp in my Misty. Now I like to color with alcohol markers. So I used some paper that is suitable for that. I am using the Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM cardstock. All of the supplies I used today will be listed and linked in the description below. So if I go a little bit too quickly with the names, you can find them all down below. Now I have left the stamp in my Misty because I'm going to stamp this again. I love coloring with alcohol markers like I mentioned, but I also love my embossing powders. I love to do a black embossed outline for my images because it really makes the black pop. And alcohol markers and embossing powders just don't mix, so I choose to stamp twice and you'll see how I do that later. Now for this coloring, I do what I always do. My coloring is always the same and I am very bad at explaining it, but I just start with my darkest shade. I always trace where I want my shadows to be with my darkest shade of marker, and then I work my way down to the lightest shade. And I fill in all the gaps with the lightest shade. I am doing that for it's not really a dress, I suppose, but I'm not sure what it's called in English, so I will call it a dress. But I use some orange to color in the dress, and then I'm going to use some teals to fill in the pockets and the little headscarf for the bear. And again, for the pockets, I start with my darkest shade, work my way to my medium shade, and then my lightest shade. For the orange dress, I did use 4 shades probably. And once I'm done coloring, before I cut it out, I place the piece of paper in the same corner of my Misty. My stamp is still in place. I left it there, so it's stamping again in the same exact spot. I stamped it this time with Versafine Onyx Black, which is not alcohol marker friendly, but my coloring is done, so it's okay. And I can add some embossing powder to that. I chose to use Wow Clear Gloss Superfine Embossing Powder. It's a great basic powder, that's why I have a huge jar of it, and I heat set that. Now for my background, or my frame I suppose, I am using the Geometric Floral hot foil and die set by Spellbinders. And I am doing all of that on my card panel. This is just some pink cardstock that I die cut with that it has some stitching or a stitched detail on the edges. I will list it down below as well. It's from Pinkfresh Studio. I am hot foiling the frame first, but the die set or the hot foil set also comes with 2 foliage pieces, and I'm hot foiling those as well. You can't do them all at the same time. But this works. It only took me 2 times to hot foil it. So if you're quick about it, you don't have to wait for your hot foil plate to heat up again. So that's great. And hot foil frames are perfect for a 1-layer card or a simple card. I took it up a little bit with the tiny dies that are included in the hot foil and die set by Spellbinders, but I love the frame just like this as well. I just thought that the bear needed a little bit more color around it. So once that frame or that panel is on, I adhered it with double-sided adhesive. I'm also adding a sentiment strip, and this is a sentiment also by Jane's Doodles. It's just thinking of you, a perfect basic sentiment, and it's from the Fresh Cut Flowers stamp set by Jane's Doodles. I will link that below as well. I'm adhering my bear on there, but my sister wanted to help or be in the video, I guess. So thumbs up, the bear is adhered right in the center of the frame. And then I am finishing off that frame, like I said, with those tiny dies that are included in that hot foil set. Just some flowers, and I chose to use a pink that is basically the same pink, just a shade darker. It's the very same tone of pink. It's kind of colder pink instead of warmer pink. So it goes with the background perfectly, and I also use some very dark teal for the tiny leaves. For my flower centers, I am using some gold pearls by Pinkfresh Studio. They're tiny pearls, and I love them. I'm finishing it up with some gems from Crafty Meraki. These are, I'm not sure what the color is called. I have too many colors of these gems, but again, they'll be listed in the description below. I adhered those down with Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive. That is a very strong glue. I love it. And that finishes up the card. And I love how that hot foil frame complements that cute little bear in the center. I am absolutely in love with the gardening bear. Jane's Doodles recently released 2 gardening themed stamp sets, and I absolutely adore them. I have black thumbs, if anything. I can't keep anything alive. But my mom is quite the gardener, and my sister loves her plants as well. So I know who to make cards for with these stamp sets. I hope you like the card. I hope you like the stamps. Please check them out in the description below. I would very much appreciate it. And I also wanted to tell you that there is a hop going on Instagram. I will leave the details about that in the description below, but it's a giveaway, so you can win some gift cards for the Jane's Doodle store. So I hope you check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.